So another common misconception in the Torah is the idea of Sodom. And as the video on homosexuality had quite a few triggers there, it's interesting that Sodom in the Torah is not really known for the same sin. So how Christians and Muslims and other communities take the sin of Sodom was from the story of Lot. Lot has two angels, malachim, that come in the visage of men, come to his house to talk to him, and the the citizens of Sodom come and bang on the door and said they want to, I guess, rape him. The wording is interesting there, but have their way with them. And so people, especially Christians and Muslims, they associate Sodom with sodomy, right? We use the word sodomy for Sodom. But in Judaism, traditionally, that's not really the sin of Sodom. So that may have been happening, but that happened all over the world. And there was a lot of homosexuality and bisexuality in the world at the time. But the sin of Sodom is a lack of hospitality more than anything. It was greed and a lack of hospitality and like kind of this exclusionary attitude. So it says Sodom was on a river delta, basically, very lush, beautiful, and very wealthy. So because they had such beautiful land, so much wealth they earned, they basically could be self-sufficient. They could make and do everything they needed themselves, and they really didn't need any outside trading or help from anybody. They had all they needed. And so they built like this gated community, basically, walled up, very beautiful, and they did everything in their power not to allow others to share in that wealth, to offer any kind of hospitality to anybody. And some of the stories they talk about, there was a bridge that led in because they were on the river. A bridge led into town, and it would cost 4 gold pieces, I don't know, whatever the currency was, to get into the bridge. And so people would choose not to pay it and try to swim across the river. And when they would get to the guards would say, go back and pay the bridge toll. He's like, well, I didn't use the bridge. I swam across. And they said, oh, well, then you have to pay double. You have to pay 8 gold pieces, and or whatever it was. And one of the stories, it says the guy got really irate and was like, how dare you make me pay? I didn't use the bridge. I just want to come in, do some trading, buy some things. And they beat him up and then took him to court. And the judge said, listen, you have to pay the 8 pieces because you swam across and didn't pay the bridge toll. And then you have to pay the guards for bloodletting, which was like a doctor's fee because, bloodletting was common medicine back then, even till recently. And they last a couple hundred years. So they charge this guy for a doctor's visit, basically, of bloodletting plus the bridge toll. And there's actually a funny story of a Jewish guy who came into town and same kind of thing, got in an argument. Somebody came on the street and just popped him. He'd come into the town, they popped him on the head with a rock and made him bleed, and then took him to court on it and said, oh, bloodletting, you gotta pay me for bloodletting. He didn't pay me. And he's like, this guy hit me in the head with a stone. What are you talking about? How do I have to pay for bloodletting? He just randomly came up and popped me in the head with a stone. And the doctor said, oh, that's how we do it. It's doctor's fee. You got to pay this guy for bloodletting. So he grabs a stone, and I think he hits the attorney or whatever it is, the prosecutor, and just wham, smashes in the head, and the blood's like gushing out of the dude's head. And he goes, well, that should cover any expenses. That should cover this guy's bloodletting plus any other expenses I may have incurred upon my visit here to Sodom. So there was a lot of that corruption. There's stories of they wouldn't allow anybody to sell or like help poor people most of the time, and it was something they would murder people for. There is one story of like an old beggar man who came in, and he was going door to door, and he was very hungry, so he was begging, please let me have a coin, let me have something. And they would give him they did end up giving him coins, which was very rare, but they marked their name on the coin and gave it to him. And so this man went door to door, collected enough coins to have a decent meal, and then every shop he went to try to get food, they would deny him. They would say, no, we're not going to help you. And you go to the next one, no, we're not going to serve you. And he kept doing that until he basically became famished and passed away, this old man. And then right away, all the citizens who had given him a coin came running back and pulled out their coin with their name on it and took them back. And so that was really more the sin of Sodom. Even though in Western culture, Christianity and Islam, other cultures we use the word sodomy to describe homosexuality between men, that actually Sodom's great sin was this lack of hospitality, was this exclusionary attitude of not wanting to share all the good they had. It's almost like rich people in a gated community who didn't want to give to anybody around them, didn't want to help anybody, didn't want to share, didn't want to offer any kind of hospitality. And that was really Sodom's sin according to Jewish tradition, more than the homosexuality part. But I think it's a fitting misconception to throw in there because of some of the things in the last series and the reaction people had to them. So I hope that clears that up, and I wish everyone the blessing of hospitality, of including people. I know I've gone through a lot in Israel in both ways, feeling excluded and feeling included. And, it really, little things can make a big difference. Helping people, being kind to people, being kind to strangers is a huge thing. And we never know how far the repercussions go and how much it can affect someone's day in their life, to just a kind word, a kind gesture, helping people out. I don't speak Hebrew that well, so sometimes people just jump in and help translate for me and things like that. A lot of people speak English here, but those little things, that sense of hospitality goes a long way. And so I wish everyone that, to be inclusionary, to help those around you, be hospitable, be kind, and we'll make a better world. So let's do this, people. Save the humans.
Trying to be a better man. Oh yeah. Trying to do the best I can. Oh yeah. And I'm gonna do right thing. Do right thing. No matter what they want to say. And I'm gonna still fight for you. Still fight for you.